Many of you will know that at Herons we grow almost all our own trees. We grow all our own maples from scratch, and these yews were grown in our field as a hedge, and you won't believe it. This tree probably is no more than, I would say, 25 years old. Look at the size of the trunk. I know the exact age because I bought these as young trees, about 3/4 inch thick, that thick, 3/4 inch thick, and they were planted in a hedge so that I could provide a screen for the house. And as the hedge got more dense, I decided that there was so much potential in these trees that we dug some of these up. So last year, which is 2020, before the lockdown in February, we decided to take 10 of these trees up. Of the 10 we dug up in 2020, so these were dug up about 18 months ago. 7 of them came through, but 3 of them didn't come through. When you dig trees up with a great big digger, you don't know how much root you've got, but look at this, so healthy. And all this foliage has been produced in the last 18 months. The original branches were that thick, so I cut a lot of those off. So these are the branches that we cut back short, but these are all the new branches that were produced in the last 18 months. And if you can look at this tree, it has got such an interesting and powerful trunk. And that is why we love working on these trees. So, as I often say, I've got to bite the bullet. I can't leave this to grow forever and a day. Of course, a lot of people buy these to work on the trees themselves, but I thought I will have a go at doing one of these trees myself. Now, looking at this Nibari, I know that a tree doesn't always have to have a special front. You sometimes can get a tree that looks nice from every angle, every side. Now, this tree looks very nice from this side, if you look at the base here. But if I turn the tree around, you can see that the base or the root base is also very nice from this side. So I'm in a dilemma. So when you get a situation like this, it just shows you how young this tree is. Look at it. This is a bit of plastic I put around the trunk for some reason, and the roots have just grown around it. So just shows, as I said, this tree is not that old. It's not that old. Okay, so because the roots are nice from both sides, I have to decide what would make a better front from the trunk point of view. And this view of the trunk is very pleasing from this angle. And there's a trunk or branch that has fused with the main trunk, so that's going to be very interesting. So the first step I now take is to selectively take out the branches that I won't need for the design of this tree. These very small, thin branches, they're not going to do anything, so I can safely get rid of them. Anything thick or substantial, you see how the new shoots are sprouting from all over the place. I don't need them from so low down. And even these branches, they're all alive. I can make jins with these. So these will probably end up as jins. But where you get a whole clutch of branches there, we've got to decide what we keep, what we discard. And so there are all sorts of possibilities for jins. This is certainly not a 2-minute or 3-minute tree. This is going to be a long-term project involving months and months of work. All these bits have to be jinned, especially this lower part. All these branches are going to be jinned. So that's going to be a job and a half. And these are the branches we're going to keep, these thin branches. So the next step is just cleaning up the base of the tree. the wood is exceedingly hard. I may keep some of these branches as live branches because they may come in useful. Because we've got quite a few months in which to decide. We will take out the branches which are obviously not going to be used. See, that that's a live one. That would make a beautiful gin. The beauty of the yew is its propensity to produce new branches, even from very old wood. So you don't have to worry about them not producing branches. So just revealing the trunk by doing that little bit reveals the full potential that there is in this tree. So I'll continue cleaning it. And I'll show you the next step when I've done a little more. So I've just taken off a few branches to reveal the massive trunk. So that great big trunk we're showing, so the tree from a distance already looks like a tree. So lots of decisions to make, but I'm just going to let this tree evolve. I'm not going to, foreclose any options. So the obvious things I will take off or make gins, and then I haven't even decided how tall the tree will eventually become. So we're making a gin with this one. Okay, gradually peel it back.
As far as we go.
Yeah. The slivers of wood, you can use the gin plast to pull it back. You cut it into small pieces and then peel it. 3 pieces and then pull each piece separately. The branch or the root cutter can be used to do that as well. Yeah, you just rock it back here like that. Rock it, can you see?
Yeah, that peels it away.
Nice tool. Yeah, very nice. Not to worry too much. We're not trying to refine it. It's just to establish where the gins are. Okay, let's have a look at the tree again. So already you see the difference. So we've just cleaned the base of the tree. We've got a lot of the debris out. You can see how much we've cleaned so far. We've taken quite a bit out, so we still have this question about the front. This tree is such an interesting tree that there are many possible fronts. The first impression was that this was interesting, so we ginned that and we ginned that. So this is interesting. I want to keep the whole height of the tree. But as I turn the tree around, let me turn the tree around and then you can decide for yourself which would be the best front. Now looking at it standing back this way, that is not so interesting. This twin trunk, this is going to be ginned eventually. The whole of that top part is going to be ginned. So that's the plan for that one. I don't want to just cut it off. But let me keep turning the tree around because we're still having to decide what is going to be the front and what's going to be the back. This nibari here is also very interesting if we look at it there. But if we stand back and get an overall view of the tree, I don't think it's so interesting. Now it's getting interesting. And for my money, I still think this is my preferred front now, looking at it like this. I tell you why, because this is interesting here, and this little bit here, this fused trunk which has gone into the back, that is very interesting. So this makes it a very, very powerful base. So if we look at the entire tree, if I just trim it a little bit, you'll get some ideas to how this tree will eventually look. You don't have to go that far, but just to give you an overall impression. Let me just stand on a chair. And the rest will be just detailed work. Detailed work, carving and refining the jins. So I will still prefer to keep the entire height of the tree and make that a nice great big yew. We have yews that look like this. So we have done the basic work, and I now know where I'm going to go. This whole part is going to be jinned and carved. I think there's a lot of carving work with carving tools, and that nice feature will remain, and then just straight branches. So as we say, not rocket science, we can see how that tree will eventually look. So it's just a question of wiring all these branches which are coming out. There's such a lot of choice for branches. So there we go. These are all 1 year branches. So these are the things that we will be wiring on. There we go.